From Graffiti to Greatness, Chapter 1. The rebel artists, the streets of Delhi at night, had their own rhythm. Rickshaw bells had long gone silent, shops had pulled down their shutters, and traffic that once roared now hummed faintly in the distance. For most of the city, it was a time of rest. But for Aarav, 17 and restless, the night was when he felt most alive. His sneakers slapped against the pavement as he and Kabir, his closest friend since childhood, slipped into a narrow alley. Aarav's backpack jangled with every step, the sound of half a dozen spray cans rattling like secret weapons. Kabir glanced over his shoulder nervously. "Bro, are you sure about this? Last time we barely escaped." Aarav grinned, pulling his hoodie tighter over his head. "Relax, yeah. Nobody's here at this hour. The walls are empty, waiting for me." He unzipped the bag, pulled out a can, and gave it a good shake. CHHHKCHHHK. The metal ball inside clinked, echoing through the quiet alley. Kabir sighed, leaning against the wall. "One day you'll get caught." "Then what?" Aarav smirked, his eyes gleaming in the dim streetlight. "Then I'll finally be famous." With a hiss, he pressed down the nozzle. Red paint sprayed across the pale wall. His hand moved quickly, bold strokes forming crooked letters, random shapes, angry faces. There was no plan, no design, just energy bursting out in reckless colors. When he stepped back, a messy jumble of lines stared back at him. To some, it looked like vandalism. To Aarav, it was freedom. "Perfect," he whispered. But Kabir wasn't convinced. "Honestly, it looks like a mess. Art isn't meant to be understood by everyone," Aarav replied with a laugh. By morning, shopkeepers would wake up to find Aarav's tags sprawled across their shutters. Office workers would curse as they walked past his neon doodles on metro station walls. Newspaper headlines called it graffiti menace. And yet, every time Aarav saw his art in the daylight, he felt a strange thrill. "That's mine, my mark, my proof that I exist." At home, things were different. His father, Mr. Sinha, was a government clerk, strict, disciplined, always lecturing about rules. His mother, a school librarian, believed in quiet living and reputation. Aarav was their only child, their only hope. But their hope was now painting walls at midnight. One evening, while Aarav ate dinner lazily, his father folded up the newspaper and looked straight at him. Another report about graffiti in our area. Shops vandalized, government property destroyed. Shameless boys with no future. Aarav swallowed his food, pretending not to notice. His mother frowned. "Why do young people waste their energy this way? If only they used their talent properly." Aarav kept his head down, but inside he was boiling. They don't get it. No one gets it. That night, he went out again. This time, he picked a bigger wall near Connaught Place. The thrill of painting in such a busy area sent adrenaline rushing through his veins. His hands moved faster, his colors bolder. But as he finished signing his tag Aarav in giant red letters, he heard a sharp voice behind him. "Stop right there." His heart skipped. Blue flashing lights. A police jeep rolled to a halt. Kabir panicked. "Run." Aarav sprinted, but 2 constables were quicker. They grabbed him by the hoodie, yanking him back. His spray can clattered to the ground, rolling away. Within minutes, he was shoved into the jeep. His parents were called at the police station. Mr. Sinha's face was red with fury. "Is this what you do at night? Destroying the city, embarrassing us?" Aarav tried to argue. "It's art, Papa. You don't understand. It's art," his father snapped. "This is not art. This is crime." His mother's eyes were filled with disappointment. "Aarav, we raised you better than this." The police gave him a warning, since he was still a minor, but his parents had to sign papers and promise stricter discipline. That night, Aarav lay awake in his room. For the first time, the thrill was gone. The walls of his city no longer looked like freedom. They looked like a trap. Yet somewhere inside him, a stubborn voice whispered, "They don't understand me, but one day they will." From Graffiti to Greatness, Chapter 2. The turning point, the week after his arrest, felt like a punishment that never ended. At school, Aarav could feel eyes on him. Whispers followed him down the corridor. "That's the graffiti guy. Did you hear? Police caught him. Total loser." Even Kabir avoided him, embarrassed by the incident. At home, his father hardly spoke to him. His mother's eyes carried silent disappointment. Aarav wanted to scream, "They'll never understand me." But the truth was, maybe he didn't fully understand himself either. A glimpse of talent one afternoon, his art teacher Ms. Mehra stopped him after class. She was in her early 30s, kind-eyed but sharp when it came to art. "Aarav," she said softly, "stay a minute." He froze, expecting another lecture. She pulled out a sheet of paper from her desk. It was one of Aarav's old sketches he had doodled during class, a rough drawing of a street scene, lively and raw. "You drew this?" she asked. Aarav nodded, hesitant. "Yeah, just practice." Ms. Mehra smiled faintly. "This isn't just practice. You have talent, real talent. But tell me why waste it on scribbling walls in the dark?" Aarav felt heat rise in his cheeks. "Because no one cares about paper drawings. Out there on the streets, everyone sees it." "Maybe," she replied, tilting her head, "but do they respect it?" Her words hit him harder than his father's anger ever had. Respect. That was what he wanted, but never received. A challenge the next day, Ms. Mehra handed him a brush and some paints. "There's an empty wall at the back of the school," she said. "Instead of sneaking out at night, why don't you paint it? Show me what you can do when you're not hiding." Aarav frowned. "A school wall, that's boring." "Then make it interesting," she said firmly. "But make it meaningful. Art should say something." For the first time, Aarav felt challenged, it by authority, but by someone who believed in him. The first real mural that weekend, Aarav stood in front of the school's back wall. It was wide, clean, and waiting. He dipped his brush into green paint. At first, his strokes were hesitant, but slowly, an image began to form. A giant tree, its branches spreading across the wall. Around it, children of different backgrounds played, studied, and dreamed. At the top, bold words read, "Save trees, save future." Hours slipped by. By sunset, the dull wall had transformed into a vibrant mural. When students returned on Monday, whispers filled the air againly this time. They were different. "Whoa, did Aarav do this? It's beautiful. Look at the details." Even teachers stopped to admire it. Some took pictures. For the first time, Aarav's art wasn't labeled as a crime. It was celebrated. Respect Ms. Mera walked up to him, smiling. "Now tell me, how does this feel compared to spraying a random wall at night?" Aarav looked at the mural, then at the faces of the students admiring it. His chest swelled with something new. Not thrill, not rebellion. Respect. It feels different, he admitted. "Good," she said. "Because that's what real art does. It inspires, not destroys." The city notices. Over the next few weeks, Aarav couldn't stop. He painted another mural near a bus stop. Children holding books with the words "Education for All." He painted a metro wall with colorful hands reaching toward each other. Unity in diversity. Soon, people began sharing his work on social media. Local news channels covered the mystery schoolboy artist. His graffiti had turned into murals of hope, and the city loved it. One reporter even called him the voice of the wall. When his parents saw the news clip, his father stayed silent for a long moment. Then, for the first time in months, he placed a hand on Aarav's shoulder. "I may not understand your art," he said quietly, "but today I'm proud of you." Aarav's throat tightened. It wasn't forgiveness, it was something greater, acceptance. A new path that night. Aarav lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The memory of flashing police lights still haunted him. But now it was replaced by something else. The image of children smiling in front of his murals. For the first time, he realized his art didn't have to be rebellion. It could be revolution. He whispered to himself, "No more wasting walls. From now on, every wall I paint will have a voice." And just like that, the rebel artist began his transformation into something greater. A creator, a leader, a messenger. From Graffiti to Greatness, Chapter 3. The final war, the city had begun to change. Everywhere Aarav painted, people stopped not to scold, but to admire. His murals had become conversation starters. School children took selfies in front of them. Office workers paused on their way home, and even elders nodded approvingly. But Aarav knew he wasn't done. Something inside him told him that his journey wasn't complete until he created something truly unforgettable. That chance arrived sooner than expected. The invitation one crisp winter morning, the principal called Aarav into her office. His parents were already there, seated stiffly, unsure what this was about. Aarav's heart pounded. Was he in trouble again? But then the principal smiled. Aarav, the municipal council has noticed your murals. They want you to lead a youth art project for the city's Republic Day celebrations. Aarav blinked. Me, lead. A project? Yes, the principal said. They re-giving you the biggest wall in the city, 200 feet wide, the entrance of Connaught Place. They want it to represent the voice of the youth. His father's eyes widened in disbelief. His mother covered her mouth, almost in tears. Aarav sat frozen, the same place where I was once caught vandalizing. They want me to paint it. Building a team at first, he doubted himself. A 200-foot wall wasn't a canvas, it was a battlefield. But Ms. Mehra encouraged him. You don't have to do it alone. Involve others. Make it a mural not just by you, but by your generation. And so Aarav began recruiting. He invited classmates, juniors from school, even students from other schools who loved art. Some he barely knew, others had mocked him in the past. To his surprise, many said yes. We've seen your work, bro. We'd love to help. Within a week, Aarav had a team of 30 teenagers, each bringing their own style sketches, painters, even calligraphy lovers. For the first time, Aarav wasn't just an artist, he was a leader. The big wall, the day finally came. The wall loomed tall and endless, stretching like a blank sky waiting for stars. Passers-by stopped to watch as the teens set up ladders, brushes, paints, and spray cans. Aarav stood before his team. This wall isn't just for us. It's for the city. It's for everyone who ever felt their voice didn't matter. Today, we speak for them with colors. And then they began. The vision, piece by piece, the mural took shape. On one side, Aarav painted a giant pair of hands, one dark, one light, holding the earth together. Beside it, a group of children studied under a tree, symbolizing education. Another section showed farmers working in fields, clouds raining blessings above them. In the center, a rising sun spread across the wall, its rays carrying words: equality, kindness, unity, dreams. Every teenager added their touch. Ria painted delicate doves of peace. Kabir, who had once doubted Aarav, now sketched a metro filled with people of all backgrounds sitting together. By evening, the blank wall had transformed into a living story of India's youth. The city gathers, word spread quickly. Crowds gathered, snapping pictures, recording videos. Some even brought snacks for the young artists. By the final day, reporters stood with cameras. A local news channel went live. Here at Connaught Place, a group of teenagers led by 17-year-old Aarav Sinha is turning the city's largest wall into a message of hope. When Aarav heard his name on live TV, a shiver ran down his spine. From criminal to creator. The inauguration. On Republic Day morning, the mural was unveiled officially. A ribbon was cut, and the mayor himself stood before the crowd. This wall, the mayor said, once stood empty, ignored, and lifeless. Today, it speaks of our youth, their dreams, and their power to build a better tomorrow. These young artists remind us that walls don't have to divide, they can unite. The crowd erupted in applause. Someone shouted, "Speech, speech." Aarav's friends nudged him forward. Nervous, he stepped up to the microphone. His parents watched from the front row, their faces glowing with pride. Aarav's speech. Aarav took a deep breath. "A year ago, I painted walls in secret. I thought I was making art, but I was only making noise. I wanted attention, but I didn't realize attention without respect means nothing. It took my teacher, my friends, and this city to show me the truth. Real art gives voice to the voiceless. It inspires change. This wall isn't mine, it belongs to all of us. It tells us we don't need to break rules to be heard. We just need to use our gifts the right way. Walls can divide people, but today, this wall unites us." He looked out at the sea of faces, students, workers, elders, children, all cheering. For the first time, Aarav felt not just like an artist, but like a citizen. The legacy. Weeks later, the mural remained a city landmark. Tourists visited it. Schools brought students to see it. Social media called it the Wall of Voices. Aarav no longer snuck out at night. He didn't need to. His art wasn't hidden anymore, it was celebrated. One evening, as he stood before the mural with Kabir, Aarav smiled. "You know," Kabir said, "this is way cooler than tagging your name on some shop shutter." Aarav laughed. "Yeah, I guess I finally found the real voice of my walls." He traced the painted rays of the sun with his eyes. Inside, he knew his journey had only begun, because he had learned the greatest truth of all. Use your talent to create, not destroy. Moral of the story: every skill, every passion, every talent is a gift. When used recklessly, it can harm, but when guided with purpose, it can inspire the world.